Hear complete coverage of Bermuda's favorite sport, the Central Counties Final, the Western Counties, the Eastern Counties, the annual Cup Match Classic, the Champion of Champions, and the Knockout Cup. Join the Voice of Summer on VSB Radio 1450 AM Go. Be there.
Fonz TV Center has a large display of stands for your television, computer, or stereo system in a variety of shapes, colors, and sizes. TV, computer, and stereo stands at the Fonz TV Center on Reed Street, Hamilton.
I'm busted. Ray Charles. That sounds familiar. I'm broke. No bread. Busted. Gene Steed.
Together. Find out which one is smarter. Some say men, I say no, 'cause the woman got the man long time ago. But not me, it's the people them say. The men are leading the women astray. But I say that the woman of today is smarter than the man in every way. Ah, that's right, the women are smarter. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right, ah, that's right. Listen. Mary had a little sheep. She took to bed with her to sleep. She turned out to be a ram. Now Mary has a little lamb. But not me. It's the people that say that the men are leading the women astray. But I say that a woman of today is smarter than a man in every way. And that's right, the women are smarter. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right. That's right. I knew an old woman who lived in a shoe, had so many children she didn't know what to do. I knew another woman in another shoe. She had no children, she knew what to do. Not me. It's the people them say the men are leading the women astray. But I say that a woman of today is smarter than a man in every way. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right, that's right. Now, Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Jill forgot to take her pill. Now she has a little daughter, but not me. It's the people them say the men are leading the women astray. But I say that the woman of today is smarter than the man in every way. Oh, that's right, the women are smarter. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right, the women are smarter. That's right. Listen to this one. A little boy sat down on the side of the road. An old man asked why he was crying. He said, 'cause I can't do what the big boys do. The old man sat down and he cried too. Not me. His people them say the men are leading the women astray. But I say that a woman of today.
VSB Radio News.
Good morning. It's 76 degrees outside. We're in for another mostly sunny day. VSB Radio Major News brought to you this morning by Bermuda College, Cable and Wireless, Butterfield Bank and Lindos. Headlining the news at this hour, bank fails to have race case thrown out. Bank manager jailed for theft. Defendant hires top UK lawyer.
When we discovered fire, we discovered barbecue. Never mind the warmth and protection from nocturnal predators. At Lindo's, the passion continues. Our master butchers will show you quality beef, lamb, pork, and chicken, and wahoo, mahi-mahi, and tuna. But did you know that artichokes, carrots, celery, leeks, onions, garlic, peppers, sweet potatoes, mushrooms, and fresh corn on the cob, and more can also be grilled to perfection? You could put something special on the grill for everyone in the family. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Lodge. A public hearing into racial discrimination allegations against the Bank of Bermuda can now go ahead after the appeals court yesterday dismissed the bank's attempt to quash the matter. The appeal followed a ruling last October from puisne Judge Charles Etta Simmons that a decision in 2002 by then Community Affairs Minister Randolph Horton to refer a racial discrimination complaint to a board of inquiry could stand. Costs were awarded to the Community Affairs Minister as the respondent, as well as to the affected party, Bermuda businessman Harold Darrell. And a source close to the matter says the two-day appeal court session could carry a price tag of up to $800,000. Each party was represented by top-ranking Queen's Counsel from the United Kingdom, as well as a Bermuda-based counsel. Mr. Darrell's spokesman, Corey Butterfield, says the costs award was unexpected.
Well, the court today, Lord Zaka, Evans, and Ward, have ruled that the bank's appeal of the minister's decision to set up a board of inquiry should be dismissed. They went through all of the grounds that the bank had appealed and dismissed each and every one of them. There wasn't a single ground that survived.
How about costs?
An extraordinary, and I suppose to use the correct legal frame, an unprecedented move. The court has awarded costs not only to the minister, who is a successful party, but also to the affected party, Mr. Harold Darrell. And in that, the bank did try to argue against costs today, but the court held their ruling and said that Mr. Darrell's interests were significant. He couldn't simply rely on the minister's counsel, that he definitely needed to be represented. And since he was successful, they've awarded costs to him.
And what's the next step now?
The next step would be to hold the Board of Inquiry, which will be a public hearing, and we are preparing for that. I should tell you that when we first retained Ms. Booth in 2002, she pledged to Mr. Darrell to see this through to the very end. When she was in court last week, she again pledged to do the Board of Inquiry. So it's very likely that Ms. Booth, ably assisted by Mr. Duncan, and we've also had one other local lawyer, top local lawyer, that's going to assist to ensure that the Board of Inquiry is comprehensive.
An ex-Butterfield Bank branch manager who stole more than $46,000 was jailed for 12 months in Supreme Court yesterday. Mia Shawnette Butterfield, age 37, of Wellington Slip Road, St. George's, pleaded guilty to stealing more than $41,000 in Bermuda currency and more than $4,000 in American currency from the bank between September of 2001 and January 2003. In February, Butterfield initially denied the charge, but on the second day of her trial, she changed her plea to guilty. Butterfield had been branch manager of the bank's St. George's branch and had acted as a relief teller when necessary. The man accused of murdering Shana Trott is expected to take the stand today in his Supreme Court trial as defense lawyers open their case. George Messi MacDonald Liebert is charged with murdering 33-year-old Miss Trott at the Kroll Esso Tiger Market in August of 2002. 32-year-old Liebert has pleaded not guilty to murder, but guilty to manslaughter with diminished responsibility. The plea means that defense lawyers must convince the 5-man, 7-woman jury that Liebert was suffering from an abnormality of the mind which impaired his judgment at the time of the killing. The Ministry of Tourism has confirmed the VSB News report that Richard Eve, Director of Sales North America, has resigned from the department after close to 30 years' service. Mr. Eve held a number of positions, including Acting Director of Tourism, Regional Manager for Tourism Canada, and Regional Manager for Tourism Mid-Atlantic North. Permanent Secretary Mark Telemack saying the ministry is thankful for the long and valuable service given to the Bermuda Department of Tourism by Mr. Eve and wishes him well in his future endeavors. A man regarded by many as Britain's top black lawyer has been hired by one of the men accused of murdering the Cooper twins earlier this year. The news broke in Magistrates Court yesterday when Kenneth Jermaine Burgess, current lawyer Michael Smith, asked Magistrate Kamisi Tacumbo to postpone the scheduled preliminary inquiry to allow Courtney Griffiths, QC, to arrive in Bermuda to take over the case in the first week of August. And despite objections from defense lawyer Victoria Pearman, who is representing the other accused, Dennis Alma Robinson, Mr. Tacumbo acceded to the request and rescheduled the matter to August the 12th. Mr. Griffiths is renowned in the United Kingdom for winning many cases against the odds and made his name by securing the acquittal of one of the youths accused of murdering 10-year-old Damilo Taylor in the infamous 2002 Old Bailey trial. The number of visitors arriving in Bermuda by air jumped 12.4% in the first quarter of 2005, this compared to the same period of last year. Government's quarterly bulletin of statistics revealing that tourist expenditures was also up from the first quarter of last year. Air passengers spent an estimated $44.7 million on the island during the first quarter of 2005. Americans contribute 70% of air arrivals, with an increase of 16.5% over last year. And the island is getting twice as many British visitors compared to this time last year. but the lowest amount of Canadians since 1982. Transport Minister Dr. Ewart Brown's revelation to VSB News earlier in the week that the Taxi Owners Association had asked his ministry to approve a dispatch system has come as a complete surprise to Association President Michael Ray.
We really want this thing to be resolved. Something else I heard the minister say, alluding to the fact about the airport, and I think he said something to the point where he would allow every four-wheel vehicle to assist when there's an emergency at the airport. And there are some of the limousine services that are not taking care of our clients. They have them on the ramps. You never hear any complaints about that. But when there's a shortage of taxis at the airport, everybody and his cousin is making a lot of noise. I suggested to the TCD team that the shared ride concept that was introduced by the government hasn't really been being utilized as effective as it can be, and that will certainly eliminate some of the problems that we are having at the airport. And I just want to appeal, if this is going to be played, I'd like to appeal to my fellow taxi drivers that we need to take care of the business that is at hand.
You're listening to VSB Radio Major News. It's a Wednesday morning at 7:23.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Bermuda College prepares you for that journey and helps you get there with
academic support, financial assistance, and other student services.
Whatever the journey, whatever your destination, first steps begin at Bermuda College.
More than a week after going public about a horrific gang rape, police have no new leads. They're still hunting 4 men who picked up a 24-year-old English woman outside the nightclub Splash on Bermudiana Road on June the 18th. The suspects are all black, aged 18 to 25, but police have not interviewed anyone or had any new calls with information about the case, nor has a taxi driver who reportedly picked up the victim after the rape come forward with any information, and the victim has been unable to come up with further details about the case. Police have yet to release details of where the actual incident took place, although they earlier revealed it was somewhere in the western parishes. Security footage of the dark car which picked up the woman has now been sent abroad for further analysis. Another short session is expected in the Senate today as a lack of meaty legislation continues to leave senators largely twiddling their thumbs. The pension amendments debated in the House of Assembly 2 weeks ago will perhaps be the most contentious issue on the agenda, while the Bermuda College Amendment Act 2005 will be read for a second time. The entire community is invited to take back the night during a 2-kilometer walk scheduled to take place today, starting at 7 p.m., Kathy Harriet, clinical supervisor of the Women's Resource Center, telling our Sherry Simmons it's important to show solidarity in the fight against abuse.
This program has been in the works or the plan for it's been in the works for at least 5 weeks now. So it's taken a bit of time to get it together. And it's following the Take Back the Night in other countries. It's been going on around the world for a number of years. And we decided to do it here to show some solidarity for women's causes and for the protection of women.
What do you hope to accomplish with the walk?
Primarily, the Take Back the Night is to raise awareness about sexual assault and domestic violence and violence against women in general in the community. So to raise awareness really is the main drive.
How many women are affected by domestic violence here in Bermuda?
The numbers are really hard to pin down for a couple of reasons. Because we don't see all women who are affected, so our numbers don't reflect that. There's also the Physical Abuse Center who also deals with domestic violence. So they have numbers, and we have numbers, and we have a combination of numbers. And then again, the police might have other numbers, and then there's women who never report. So we don't know.
The Take Back the Night March starts from All Boys Point, and participants are asked to register at 6 p.m. For an organization that's been around since before the Second World War, the Bermuda Cadet Corps tends to keep a low profile, but that is all about to change. Second Lieutenant Liam Anderson has been named Public Relations Officer, and he's happy to talk about an outstanding youth program that currently attracts 500 cadets from public and private schools.